Okay, my lovies, next chapter. Dorothy opens the dinner pail. Now, Tick-Tock, said Dorothy, the first thing to be done is to find a way for us to escape from these rocks. The Wheelers are down below, you know, and threaten to kill us. There is no reason to be afraid of the Wheelers, said Tick-Tock, the words coming more slowly than before. Why not? She asked. Because they are a gurgle. He gave a sort of gurgle and stopped short, waving his hands frantically until suddenly he became motionless, with one arm in the air and the other held stiffly before him, with all the copper fingers of the hand spread out like a fan. Dear me, said Dorothy in a frightened tone. What can the matter be? He's run down, I suppose, said the hen calmly. You couldn't have him wound up very tight. I didn't know how much to wind him, replied the girl, but I'll try to do better next time. She ran around the copper man to take the key from the peg at the back of his neck, but it was not there. It's gone, cried Dorothy in dismay. What's gone? Asked Billina. The key. It probably fell off when you made that low bow to you, returned the hen. Look around and see if you can find it again. Dorothy looked, and the hen helped her, and by the girl discovered the clock key, which had fallen into a crack of the rock. At once she wound up Tick-Tock's voice, taking care to give the key as many turns as it would go around. She found this quite a task, as you may imagine if you have ever tried to wind a clock, but the machine man's first words were to assure Dorothy that he would now run for at least 24 hours. You did not wind me much at first, he calmly said, and as I told you that long story about King Ev, I can't turn the page. I turned 2 pages. There we go. So it is no wonder that I ran down. She next rewound the action clockwork, and then Billina advised her to carry the key to Tick-Tock in her pocket so that it would not get lost again. And now, said Dorothy, when all this was accomplished, tell me what you were going to say about the Wheelers. Why, they are nothing to be frightened at, said the machine. They try to make us folks believe that they are very terrible. But as a matter of fact, the Wheelers are harmless enough to anyone that dares to fight them. They might try to hurt a little girl like you, perhaps, because they are very mischievous. But if I had a club, they would run away as soon as they saw me. Haven't you a club? Asked Dorothy. No, said Tick-Tock. And you won't find such a thing among these rocks, either, declared the yellow hen. Then what shall we do? Asked the girl. Wind up my think works tightly, and I will try to think of some other plan, said Tick-Tock. So Dorothy rewound his thought machinery, and while he was thinking, she decided to eat her dinner. Billina was already pecking away at the cracks in the rocks to find something to eat, so Dorothy sat down and opened her tin dinner pail. In the cover, she found a small tank that was full of very nice lemonade. It was covered by a cup, which might also, when removed, be used to drink the lemonade from. Within the pail were 3 slices of turkey, 2 slices of cold tongue, some lobster salad, 4 slices of bread and butter, a small custard pie, an orange, and 9 large strawberries, and some nuts and raisins. Singularly enough, the nuts in this dinner pail grew already cracked, so that Dorothy had no trouble in picking out their meats to eat. She spread the feast upon the rock beside her and began her dinner, first offering some of it to Tick-Tock, who declined because, as he said, he was merely a machine. Afterward, she offered to share some with Billina, but the hen murmured something about dead things and said she preferred her bugs and ants. Do the lunchbox trees and dinner pail trees belong to the Wheelers? The child asked Tick-Tock, while engaged in eating her meal. Of course not, he answered. They belong to the royal family of Ev. Only, of course, there is no royal family just now, because King Evoldo jumped into the sea and his wife and 10 children have been transformed by the Gnome King. So there is no one to rule the land of Ev that I can think of. Perhaps it is for this reason that the Wheelers claim the trees for their own and pick the lunches and dinners to eat themselves. But they belong to the king, and you will find the royal E stamped upon the bottom of every dinner pail. Dorothy turned the pail over, and at once discovered the royal mark upon it, as Tick-Tock had said. Are the Wheelers the only folks living in the land of Ev? Inquired the girl. No, they only inhabit a small portion of it, just back of the woods, replied the machine. But they have always been mischievous and impertinent, and my old master, King Evoldo, used to carry a whip with him when he walked out to keep the creatures in order. When I was first made, the Wheelers tried to run over me and butt me with their heads, but they soon found I was built of too solid a material for them to injure. You do seem very durable, said Dorothy. Who made you? The firm of Smith and Tinker in the town of Evna, where the royal palace stands, answered Tick-Tock. Did they make many of you? Asked the child. No, I'm the only automatic mechanical man they ever completed, he replied. They were very wonderful inventors. They were my makers, and quite artistic in all they did. I'm sure of that, said Dorothy. Do they live in the town of Evna now? Let's pause here for a second. I gotta go take care of that beeping.